Well, welcome again to this channel. Today, I just want to talk about something that I think is really, really important for us as African really to be able to understand. I was watching basically what happened with the summit of Russia, Africa, where all the African leaders, most of them, the majority of them attended this meeting in Russia. Now, I have no issue with people or presidents going to Russia, given the fact that there is going to be a change of tone, a new way of doing things with Russia, rather than what it was like with the United States of America or Europe, you know, the Western world, basically. But I see here a change that is basically coming into, I wouldn't say a change, but a new approach, where we're seeing now that, you know, African leaders are demanding also, they're also wanting to be respected as president. What we've seen in the past is not really the kind of thing that, you know, one will be proud of, i.e. presidents of different nations in Africa being treated like little children who are going to beg for bread from the United States or from Europe or from France or Germany. I mean, the approach that these presidents have towards our leaders is really, for me, it's really disgraceful. They don't really have respect for African presidents or leaders as such. And because this is the face that we have obviously given around the world, that we are going to ask, we are going to beg so that they can help us, so we can have something to eat or something, you know, to help us with our nations and our country. And that is so belittling. That is not actually helping us to move forward. I've always been against that fact that we allow people to treat us that way. Look, if we see ourselves as being small and little, and this is the way we're going to be treated in any way, and we can see that in the past, recently here in the Democratic Republic of Congo, I've seen the French president who basically came and was talking to Congolese in our country, is talking to us as if we're French subject. His manner, his way of talking is absolutely appalling in my view, in my understanding. He has no place here to talk to anybody like that. But I'm very glad that President Felix stood up and really put him back in his place. I wish it was even more than what he did. But he did good to actually address his behavior. I think that is wrong. If you're going to deal with people as equal, yes, that's great, that's better. But if you are coming so that you can basically talk down to Africans and make them feel like, you know, they're nothing, but yet at the same time, it is these same leaders who are causing problems and mountains of problems in most of the African countries. The destabilization of Africa today is due to the fact that the Western world has always wanted to have the upper hand and to come in and take what belongs to Africans. We can talk about the minerals, we can talk about neocolonialism. This is something that is still happening today. But today, I want to talk about this young man, this president of Burkina Faso. This guy, really, his tone of voice, the way that he approaches their leaders or addresses them at the summit in Russia, it's something that I am really proud of, to be honest. But obviously, he's a young guy who's just basically come into power, and we cannot assess, you know, what his ability or his experience, what he's basically going to do. I'm not talking about his achievement, because he hasn't achieved nothing as yet. So there is nothing to basically assess him in along the lines of his leadership in that country. But it's just the attitude that he has towards the other leaders in that conference as it stands. Ibrahim is the new president, and we understand, you know, that there's been a coup in that part of the world, in that country. But I think here I'm not talking about anything else other than just his attitude and his position and how he sees the world and what he would like the world to be. And I think on that basis, I like his courage. I think he's very courageous, and I think, you know, yeah, let's just say he's very courageous and very brave. So I don't know what his vision is for his country, but obviously he understands what the paradigm has been like in the past between the Western world and the African nations. And obviously amongst them also we see another president, Museveni, who also, intervened. And I can just hear the outcry of these presidents and leaders is that they don't want to be treated like children anymore. They don't want to be treated as like children. They want to be equal and they want to be respected as such. And I think that's a fair deal. That's a way to look at things. Now, you can't just basically come into a country, into a nation, and just come and take and go. And let's basically just treat people as if they're nothing. I mean, this is the kind of attitude we have. But we can see here the same thing that I see happening here in Russia. I understand that the president of Russia understands the failure or the attitude that Western leaders had towards African leaders. Now, he's basically maximizing on that so that he can basically take a different approach because he's listening and he can understand that, no one likes to be belittled. Now, I think he's taking a different approach. He wants to embrace them as colleagues. He wants to embrace them as equal, and he's thinking this is equal trading partners. There is a lot that can be done between Russia and the African nations. There's a lot that can be achieved, but you see, the rapport that we have, the relationship that we have determines obviously how far we go and how much we achieve. And I kind of like that tone of voice, just to know and to understand that yes, he has this approach and he wants basically to walk, walk with African leaders as equal. And that's a good thing. This is what we want to see. And so I come back to Ibrahim. I think if he maintains, but let me tell you this, I know for one that the Western world don't like leaders like him. We've seen obviously what happened to the likes of him that came before him, like with Patrice Lumumba, those who want to stand up and say, look, enough is enough. We want Africa to be able to develop, to go forward, and to be treated as equal. Those kind of people don't always last because you know what? They'll come after you. They think about, thank God that this is not Russia. I mean, this is not, it's not America, it's not the UK, it's not French or Belgium, but this is Russia. They have a new approach. Now, you understand that obviously the power of balance has shifted, whereby we see that there is no more trade between Russia and the United States, and now everybody's looking for a new market. Now, Africa is a big market, if you like, for most of the countries, because, one thing, I'm not proud to say this, we are the consumers. We are the big consumers in our world today. Most of what we have, for example, in the DRC is basically being imported. We're not exporting, we're importing pretty much everything that we consume here. And so these countries, or Russia, is obviously wanting to do business with African leaders. It has been, for a long time, but obviously with the severing their ties with the United States, I think this opens the opportunity for Russia to do business with African leaders. But yeah, that business must be done on the win-win basis, and that there must be mutual respect between our leaders. And this is the way we want to see things move forward. This is the kind of character, this is the kind of behavior that we want to see. Anything that is outside of those remit, I think will just basically be out of balance and it would not be good. So I really, like this guy. And I like, when I say this guy, I mean, I like the president of Burkina Faso. I think, that approach that he takes, if only he can have a heart also for his people, which I do believe he has, because his own people in his country are saying that, he's a man on the ground, he's seen the suffering of the people, and he has come into power in order to basically change things. Well, let's see what happens. But as far as I'm concerned, I think he's he's a young man, he's brave, he's courageous. Now we just want to see if he can actually do what is expected of him in his country. That's really, really vital. I am everywhere, me as a person, I personally want to see many leaders rising, African leaders rising and take their stand against the Western world. I mean, we shouldn't let ourselves be ruled or governed the way that things have happened in the past. No, it doesn't happen that way. Africa is not some kind of if you like, a backyard where people can come and take and go. No, we need to look at this and address address this. And if we want to be respected, then we must set the tone. Then we must understand that we must obviously put the, if you like, put limits and boundaries as to what we will tolerate. So I wanted to say one more again, I want to say once again that Ibrahim Theodore is a great guy, and I believe that his attitude will obviously be looked upon as something that is very positive as far as African leaders are concerned. No more are the days where we're going with our head bowed down as if we're asking for something. So I just want to say good luck to the Mr. President, and we encourage you to do more and let your people rise up and become who they were meant to be, and the destiny of that country is in the hands of the people of that country. So thank you very much for lifting up a standard, and we look forward to seeing some more. All right. With you, I leave you right now, but I just want to say to you that, you know, we have more and more information, if you like, about what is happening around Africa, mainly around in the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So we look forward to your comment. Subscribe, get some more people to subscribe, and like, thumbs up, and we just want to have as many people as possible, because the aim of this channel is basically to give you good news of what is coming out of Africa and to build something that is basically going to encourage us as a people to move forward towards development in our nations. You take care. Until next time, bye-bye.